If you were going to cast James Franco, the star of Young and the Restless, as a world leader, who would you pick?
What? I wouldn't pick
A
anybody.
historical world leader.
Oh my God.
If James Franco was going to play a historical world leader
This is an impossible
from any country,
question. Yeah.
like Spain, for instance.
Does he play a historical leader for Spain?
She doesn't know history, so it doesn't.
No, I don't know.
This bit won't ever end. It'll go on forever. Plus, she hasn't seen the Pan's Labyrinth. So, Franco was the dictator of Spain until like the 70s. So, James Franco. Doesn't matter. But he's not playing Franco.
Okay, I see. I get it.
He is playing a Spanish-speaking person, and that person is Fidel Castro.
What?
Yes! Alina of Cuba is a new movie, an independent drama that is currently casting and will be soon be shooting. And the director has cast James Franco as Fidel Castro.
Why?
Because he has a squirrely beard when it grows in. I don't know. I have no idea.
Really weird casting.
It is really weird casting.
I don't like it.
I guess I guess the director John Martin O'Phelan has released a statement saying that he is of Latin Portuguese heritage. Yeah, you know, James Franco. That's what we all think.
Sure. No, it's not. He's a white guy.
When we think about Dave Franco and James Franco, we think,
Yeah.
oh boy, those guys, Latin to their core.
Right.
Well, I think that we don't feel that way. And somebody else who shares that opinion with us is John Leguizamo, who has in past years been very vocal about what he sees as the lack of Latin representation in Hollywood. And he tweeted out about it, saying that I got no problems with James Franco. Yo, okay? First of all, you should.
You should.
You should. You had
problematic.
You didn't have me at all, and you're going to have me later. But right now, you don't have me. He says, I grew up in an era when Latin people couldn't play Latin people on film. Mm-hmm. And that I do agree with. And apparently he went on a nice little tear. maybe too long, but trying to make his point on Instagram, talking about Hollywood of the past, where Charlton Heston played Mexican, Eli Wallach played Mexican, Pacino played a Cuban and a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck was Latin in Argo. Marissa Tomei has played a series of Latin women. And that's where we're at, you know?
Yeah.
The whole West Side Story situation.
Yes.
And I agree with Mr. Leguizamo. Mm-hmm. He's got a nice little picture here of Eli Wallach and Clint Eastwood in Good, Bad, and the Ugly with brown face, scribble. You know when it lets you mark up or draw on a photo, and you clearly are just using like the tip of your finger?
Yes.
It's a brown face.
Oh my gosh.
So he's getting the message out there.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, this is a good message, I think, to make sure that people are aware of. And I thought we were on the right path as far as all this goes, but clearly we're not past that. And also, if, like, a director needs to release a statement saying, oh, no, he's got Latin blood in him, then maybe he doesn't have enough Latin blood in him for it to make sense. If you're passable as white, then maybe you shouldn't play somebody who is Latinx.
Well, you heard it here first.
I'm just saying.
I would say that it is a thorny issue.
It is
but
thorny.
I would say that, although I don't 100% subscribe to your opinion there, I definitely don't subscribe to the opinion of the guy defending this, because he's like, well, he's got, his mother's mother. This ain't Roots. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Yeah.
What is the determination? What is the what are we going for here? Mm-hmm. Like Eli Wallach is specifically playing a Mexican guy, right? That's where Good, Bad, and the Ugly takes place. I mean, shot in Italy.
Right.
Eli Wallach, a Polish Jew who grew up in an Italian-American neighborhood. We're all a combination of all kinds of things.
Absolutely.
But I think John's ultimate point is give Latin actors roles.
Yes.
And another point that he makes is that I can't remember who it is, but there's like another Latin person or two in this. And he's like, when you've got, one Latin person, fine. Two Latin people, it's a Latin movie. So Oscar Isaac can be Poe Dameron, but if Ray is Leslie Grace or something like that, then it's a Latin movie.
Okay.
And we know that is how Hollywood works,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like the first black movie I ever saw that wasn't a black movie was Black Panther.
Right.
And you go, whoa, that was a super black movie. I understand that, but Hollywood treated it, if the entire cast is black except for Frodo or Bilbo being in it. But Hollywood didn't treat it that way. It gave it a full push. It spent $200 million on it, and it made, $2 billion.
Yes.
So there's your black movie right there.
Yeah.
Only, no, this isn't a black movie. This is for all the quadrants.
Right.
And so that's how Hollywood thinks. And John has done a lot in recent years to try to call that out. I don't see anybody else doing it as hard as he is. So I wish somebody else would kind of step up and help him out with that.
I wish they would too, because
when Catherine Zeta-Jones is like, well, she's got dark hair. She's Zorro, Lady Zorro.
Right. I mean,
she's Welsh.
Right. I mean, I wish there were other actors who were going out there and doing this as well. And I think that one reason why we're hearing about this is because this is John Leguizamo, and he has some cachet in Hollywood. So I think that people who have some pull really need to be the ones who make the biggest deals out of this. Otherwise, it's just not going to get listened to at all. But I do think that other people who are not Latinx, can also make a big deal about this and agree and refuse to be cast in roles that aren't suitable for them.
Turning down roles, that's not something that actors do very often.
No, it's not. And
certainly not with that outcry. I remember before that terrible recent Hellboy movie came out, they cast Ed Skrein, right, as a character who in the comics was Asian.
Oh, okay.
Because
Ed Skrein doesn't sound like an Asian name.
No, he's
I don't know who that is.
Well, his name's Francis. Not Ajax. Francis. From
okay.
Deadpool.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's a rapper.
Yeah.
And there was an outcry. It's not like he turned the role down. He took the role, and then people were like, "Oh, what?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know people felt this way."
Sure.
And then probably ate some broccoli, and then he stepped away. And then they put I don't know somebody other doomed soul in there.
Somebody else. Yeah, right.
In that horrible film. So yeah, I mean, hold a press conference or something. Tell Oscar Isaac that it's a guitar concert, and when he shows up and there's no microphones,
trap
he'll
Oscar
be a little
Isaac.
sad,
Yeah.
but then he'll speak out about it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a movement for this, but come on. Or do they not want to rock the boat too much?
No,
because there is a fresh off the boat.
Yeah.
But there's no Latin off the boat.
There could be. I don't see why there wouldn't be. What is the Latinx show that is on TV? I can't remember. This is terrible. And why is there just one? And it has the lady who is in West Side Story. She's the grandma.
Oh, yeah. That's the reboot of One Day at a Time.
Yes.
Which was canceled.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if George Lopez isn't doing anything, then, it hurts us all.
That's right.
Right? How are we going to get jobs?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't like it.
No. What's to like? There's nothing to like. And I don't like...
Sofia Vergara is probably the biggest, she's probably the most highest earning Latinx star on TV, right? Or was.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. She could be vocal about this.
I think that's another
No.
Look, here's the thing. John Leguizamo is probably losing roles because of this, even though he'll just randomly show up in a movie.
Yeah. I know. It's it's John Leguizamo.
I'm trying to think of what was the last movie that was he headlined The Pest. I'm not trying to make fun of his career, but he's not necessarily a guy who's going to show up top of the bill, but he will. But because of that, he'll take any role. And so John Leguizamo's in this?
Right.
And he's in it for 3 minutes, and he's like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah,
Gotta go complain about something else.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it's tough for actors to advocate for themselves because they need
Really
to
tough.
seem, you don't see Ruby Rose advocating for like safer stunts on sets.
Look. I feel we make fun of Ruby Rose.
Yes, we do.
I don't think she's a great actress, but I do feel kind of bad for her, and I do think that she was in a really bad situation. It was really incredibly unsafe.
Honey, all we're going to do is complain about the WB on this show.
Yeah.
So keep that in your hip pocket.
Okay.
Because we have a lot to say about the WB on this, the Jubba Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
You have to look me in the eyes. We're doing a show together.
No.
And so...
I avert my eyes.
Therefore, we're here to give you all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment. I just want to say before we get right into the thing that we do, that we will be appearing at Convergence Con. The next time you hear us, that we'll be there.
That's right.
We will be, of course, broadcasting from the show floor, as usual, starting on Thursday. Mm-hmm. It runs Thursday to Sunday. And if you, tickets are still available if you're in the Twin Cities or the tri-state, 5-state area.
I don't know.
If you're near the Twin Cities.
Near the Twin Cities.
And like a good time and like a lot of nerds talking about a lot of good stuff, now would be the time for you to look into this. Convergence, like it's spelled, -con.org. Online, we'll be there talking on panels and just interacting with fans and things like that. And so we'll be bringing you shows from the floor, possibly taped panels and things like that. Depends on what they're okay with us doing. I don't think there's going to be a problem, but
I don't think so.
Plenty of content. We don't have any big interviews lined up this year just because we were just uncertain like who's going to come. It was kind of like down to the wire whether we were going to go for a while.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be trying to talk to some people and people we know and pulling people aside in the floor and getting the lay of the land.
Yes, exactly. The land
ND,
of the hotel.
RD. Nerd and land don't rhyme.
No.
It's not one of those like I rhymes, right?
That kind of works. Nerd, land. No.
My chair is so squeaky. It's kind of like having a ball. You know that you sit on a ball?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be good for your core?
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard to not wiggle my butt.
It's like sitting on a ball.
Yeah. I'm getting
like,
abs of steel down here.
So great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So look out.
If you hear that squeak, that's what that is.
Yeah, look, I don't know what to do about it either. Get some WD-40.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, stay tuned to us. Follow us on Twitter at Just Enough Trope. Also subscribe to us on listening platforms if you haven't yet, so you can stay abreast of what is happening at the show, what we're talking about. What are we talking about? What's going on? How's Mikan Hana?
Mikan Hana is great. She is trying to get ready for the show. I have another almost 3-hour movie that I need to watch before the show. So yeah, it's I got a lot to do, and just make sure that I'm ready to talk about all the panels that I'm on. You know, try to have some thoughts like ahead of time, so you're not going in completely cold. You know? So.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. You know, the panels that I got are interesting.
Yes.
I don't remember signing up for some of them, but here we are.
All right.
Some of them I might have just been added to against my will.
Whoa.
But I am modding 2 panels that I would step over probably your body.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't have to be anybody. Doesn't have to be your body.
Okay.
To be on and to be the facilitator of, and that is the Quantum Leap fan panel.
Yes.
And of course, Bowie on the big screen.
Okay. So you are modding that one.
Yes.
All right.
Almost definitely, people are just going to want to talk about Labyrinth the entire time.
Yeah.
But I
know.
have watched every second of every moment that man has been on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Big, small, and I didn't go to Broadway to see him in any plays, so I missed those.
Okay, well.
And anytime he's been on a screen,
yeah,
all of his music videos,
mm-hmm.
I've seen every second.
Yes.
So if you think
And
we're
watch a
not,
concert video.
if you think we're not talking about Mr. Rice's Secret, you got another thing coming. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or his first filmic appearance, 1967 short film, The Child. The Image.
The Image. Okay.
Yes. He is
Wow.
a child in it.
Oh, he's a child?
Well, he's maybe like 16 or something.
Oh, wow.
It's
really
terrible.
young. Okay.
And that's why we have to talk about it.
Well, there's a lot of his films that are terrible, and some of them he's only in like 3 minutes of. And it's like, oh, David Bowie is here. And it's like, but it's a horrible film.
Yep.
So
Yep.
why are we excited?
That's one of the things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Why David Bowie? They're also going to want to talk about The Prestige, another movie he's in for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's good casting because, and Christopher Nolan has said so much that, you know, he was, obviously people want to work with Bowie. He was a
Of course.
fan, grew up listening to his music, and thought like Tesla was this weird guy,
Yes.
literally, but also figuratively, who seemed like he was from another planet, and he interacted with people strangely, and he was creative, and he just thought like it became like this kind of kismet casting when somebody said that, I think David Bowie might be free. And he's like, oh, but he's going to be David Bowie. Now
Yeah.
the part, I mean, he's fine in the part. How can you tell? It's so short. And the part isn't really anything. He's more of ironically, a device
Yeah.
in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good casting. But why is he in August?
What's August?
August is a 2008 movie about the 2001 financial crash,
Oh my God.
where Josh Hartnett and Adam Scott are having fun yet as their .com business goes under.
No.
And boy, they've got a lot to say about it.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay.
They're going to quote the Upanishads, and this writer's really going to show you how many books he's read. And David Bowie's in it for 2.5 minutes, 10 minutes from the end.
Oh, fantastic.
I want that time back, but I
Yeah.
can't have it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it from you on Friday, August 12th at 8:30 p.m.
Okay.
in Hyatt 2 Greenway,
B Square.
BCDE.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people are they expecting to come to this thing? It's Friday night,
Yes.
8:30 p.m.
Yes.
at Cannes.
Yes.
You have a flask full of Rumpelmints,
Uh-huh.
and you're, dressed up like Zero Two.
Mm-hmm.
That's an anime character, right?
Sure.
Are you going to go to a David Bowie panel?
Somebody is.
Yeah, but not BCDE and worth of
like
people.
3-4 rooms worth of people. Yeah.
So anyway, help us fill this room up. Come check out the Bowie on the big screen panel.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that they get their estimates right on like how big a panel is going to be, and sometimes they get it like really wrong. Like they'll put a panel in like a really tiny room, and like people are trying to like squeeze in.
Well,
and,
let's
like,
hope we're
sitting on the
squeezing them
floor.
in
Yeah.
at 2 p.m. on Saturday in Hyatt 2 Greenway, FG, where for the Enterprising Individuals
Yes.
live taping of Star Trek First Contact.
Mm-hmm.
You never forget your first.
You never forget your first.
So, to wit,
Mm-hmm.
Netflix has released
Yes.
its The Sandman series.
Yes.
It's The Sandman,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on Netflix. And we'll be talking about the first episode.
Yes.
What do you want us to watch the whole thing and then say good or bad? The
Right.
first 3?
Right.
The first one, it's good or bad,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So we watched the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is a slight structure spoiler, if that's possible, but the show is trying to sort of take on the comic issue by issue.
Right.
Whether this means there'll be 75 episodes of the show, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know that it is very similar to the story of the first issue.
Yes.
So we also decided, what the hell? Let's read the first issue of Sandman, the
Yes.
DC Vertigo title, also collected in the volume Preludes and Nocturnes.
Mm-hmm.
The first issue of Sandman and the first episode of Sandman, that's what we're talking about for our feature at the end of the show. But right now, we're talking about the news. Well, we've had some weird kind of news as we open this thing up, but here's some interesting news. You know Giancarlo Esposito,
Yes.
the owner and proprietor of Los Pollos Hermanos?
Yes.
Well, he was at a con recently,
Yes.
I have some friends at this con actually in Texas.
Mm.
And he said, and this is probably, he was just doing a Q&A or on a panel, but he said,
Yeah.
I just want good things to come. You put good in the universe, it comes back. And he's like, Professor X, let's make it happen.
I think that would be really cool.
And I was like, that is perfect. And as we have already discussed on the show, it's the kind of decision that Racist Hollywood would never think to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
If name an old actor. If Matt Smith
Yeah.
shaves his head for another role,
Uh-huh.
and the casting director at Marvel or Fox 2000 or whatever they're called now saw him.
Mm-hmm.
No. If Matt Smith got cancer,
Whoa.
and a casting director saw him, they'd be like, Professor X, get him in here. It's like,
So they just see a bald head.
We all have
white
hair.
Bald head. Yeah.
and except for Superman, it can all be cut off of our heads.
Yes.
Anybody can be bald.
Absolutely.
You got to pick the right person.
Yeah.
And like, there you go.
Yeah.
And he's got the to me, my X-Men, thing. But also he could, if this goes on and they introduce like the Xavier protocols and the idea that like, yeah, man, nice little Chuck Xavier, let's all give the mutants a Coke and a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe got some darker things going on. They got that too.
Yeah.
The wheelchair turns around and his face completely changes.
Oh my God.
And he's like,
Well, because like in the
Beast.
comics,
kill him.
like Xavier isn't necessarily always like Mr. Nice Guy, right? Like he does some things that are not
Yeah.
always so great.
And he literally becomes a villain at one point.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about that.
No.
This is a dumb idea.
No. I mean, we don't want him to be like a villain. We got Magneto for that. But
That's how he becomes a villain.
yeah, I mean that makes sense because of his relationship with Magneto. But I think that would be excellent casting. And it would give him a chance.
Oh, it's so good that the movie police are here.
Oh no! It would give him a chance to play somebody who isn't necessarily a bad guy for a while, because like he's been like at least since Breaking Bad, he's just been cast as bad guys and like just everything I've seen him in,
Yeah.
So it would be nice for that reason as well. But I think that would be excellent casting. I'd love to see him as Professor X. So
Yeah, me too. Let's talk about some other casting news. I don't know if you remember the Netflix show Lupin,
I do.
starring Omar Sy.
Yeah, that was a great show.
It was okay. If it was really great, you would have finished watching it.
Yeah.
But I liked what I saw for the most part, and I like Omar Sy. He will be heading up or what do you call it? Starring in. I don't. Heading up is that directing or is that he's heading up the call sheet for
There you
John
go.
Woo's for the John Woo led. Does he lead it or does he head it up?
Oh my God.
One of these guys is going to direct, and one of these guys is going to star
Uh-huh.
in a remake of The Killer for Peacock.
Whoa. Okay. That sounds cool.
No.
For Peacock though?
No, it won't be cool.
Oh.
You do not need to remake The Killer.
I guess you don't. It's a perfect movie, so why do you need to remake it?
Because you're John Woo, and you forgot how guns work or something like that, or like we've literally gone through every combination of birds and guns. We're just gonna have to go back and do it all over again.
We're gonna have to start at the very beginning. A very good place to start.
What?
That's Sound
I know
of
what
Music.
it's from. I don't know
Okay.
what it has to do with what I just said.
Nothing.
And I'll tell you, the screenplay, which already exists, was written by writing partners Matthew Stucken and Josh Campbell, who wrote 10 Cloverfield Lane, okay, as well as, Aaron Creevy, Welcome to the Punch and Collide, what? And Brian Hegeland, who wrote Legend, and he's been around for a while. I'm assuming that he's just like doctoring this. So we've already got 4 writers on this script for a film that already exists and has a script.
John, why are you doing this? Have you run out of ideas that you're like, just like, I have to do my own movies
Hey,
again?
jazz albums don't pay for themselves.
He
He needs the money.
I understand that, but like, I just feel like he least he used to be a really creative person and like somebody who like.
Plus, it's Peacock. Peacock can't. They're not going to have.
Well,
like,
that's kind of like the first thing
people
that I was like
getting
"Ugh."
shot 17 times and blood flying everywhere. This is going to be
No.
like a TV John Woo movie.
It's
And that's
gonna
called
be
To
a
Catch a Thief. It was a Canadian.
PG.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I've gotten less and less excited about it as the story has gone on. So,
I was never excited about it.
All right.
That's my secret. That's my secret. Looks like Shurigawa will return for Sex Education Season 4.
Really?
Can you believe that show's still going?
No, I can't.
I kind of pulled the ripcord halfway through the second season.
I think
I
it
was like, okay,
jumped
it's
the
just going to be
shark.
this
I
all
think
over
it-
and over again.
I think it jumped the shark.
Kind of got
actually,
tired of it, but it's
pretty
still
early
going,
on.
and he will continue. Now, what I want to know is, how's that going to work? How's he going to do that?
I don't know. They must have like,
Triple lattes, probably.
yeah, I guess
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work to be the doctor and to be in sex education. I just don't know. Okay, they're gonna make it work, and I hope he saves the money because that's just gonna be a lot of money. So, good. I guess. Well, I guess his character probably is still on it, and it wouldn't make sense for him to not be on it, and he must enjoy doing it. So, that's all I can think of. What?
I wouldn't ask you to say any more than that.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about his co-star on the show, Emma Mackey. She'll be appearing in the Emily Bronte biopic, Emily.
Okay.
Soon to premiere at Toronto Film Festival, and then probably, not so widely later, but somewhat widely later.
Okay. Is it going to have the other Bronte sisters in it as well? I'm guessing. I'm assuming.
I guess it would have to, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have to, I would think.
It's directed by actress Frances O'Connor. This is her directorial debut. Debut as a director.
Yeah.
Edit that up, cut it up. And she is, I don't know, she's just been in some stuff and none of it's any good. Who cares? She was in Mansfield Park. She's like the main girl in that.
Okay.
Remember that?
Which one? There have been so many
There's
of
a
them.
ton of girls in that.
Well, there have been different versions of Mansfield
Oh, I
Park.
see what you mean.
Yeah.
This is the Johnny Lee Miller one. She was the girl, Fanny.
Okay. Okay.
She was in we saw this together, the bad version of The Importance of Being Earnest.
Oh, yeah, that was not very good.
Yeah. She got a tattoo on her butt. Because
Awesome.
that was the funny joke, the modern sort of joke that they added to their
Wow,
thing.
hilarious.
That movie was really bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was very disappointing. You just told me something interesting about the Bronte sisters.
Wasn't Rupert Everett in that too? Oh no, wait a minute. Maybe we didn't see that together. I don't know if we knew each other back. This is 2002.
Oh, we wouldn't have known each other.
And Rupert Everett plays Algie. So it's like,
Okay.
oh, it's 2002. Gay guys are still playing straight guys. I mean, I guess it still happens. But Rupert Everett was like, I mean, look, I'm glad that John Leguizamo's doing what he's doing. And I'm glad there isn't like a straight white English John Leguizamo who's going, why is this gay guy? How is this still happening? Gay guys playing straight guy.
No.
It doesn't go both ways.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway.
You told me something interesting about the Bronte sisters recently.
Yeah, their house was near a graveyard, and apparently the graveyard leached into the water supply, and so the reason that they all died in their 30s was apparently they're all like poisoned, like septic when they died.
It's really disgusting.
Although there's your story right there.
Yeah, right.
Wuthering Heights. Come on,
Whoa.
Neil Patrick Harris, Martin Luther King. Who's the guy with the 3 names? And he's Seth Graham Smith. There you go. Come on.
Yeah.
Back
Oh
once
my
you're,
God.
and it will soon. Your
Yeah.
screenwriting career fails. You go back to writing Victorian monster novels.
There you
and
go.
it's Wuthering Heights.
I can see that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Wow. Except if he writes it, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad.
Well, no, that's
No.
I'm just trying to help him out.
Yeah. Okay.
I can teach him to fish. I can't help him pull down a 6-foot tarpon.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
know.
gonna work.
Okay.
Tarpon are huge.
Are they?
I have swam with the tarpons before.
Have you?
They don't like their school or anything. I'm just saying, like I was,
Yeah.
snorkeling in coral reefs
Really?
in the Keys, and it's scary.
Really?
Yeah, you see
How big are they?
6 feet long. Yeah.
You're kidding me.
You just see like an object. And I mean, part of it, I don't think I was even thinking like, oh, sharks are also kind of big. Because I'd already seen sharks and it wasn't that big of a deal. But like you see a tarpon like swimming and it's like, oh, that's like,
wow.
that's like, that's
I had
the
no
size
idea.
of me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a weird to see an animal that is, you know, as big as you. And also you're not in your, like, my feet know how to run.
Yes.
Something comes after me in the water. I'm not adapted for that.
No.
I'm screwed.
No.
Anyway,
Okay.
I feel like
Wow.
Emma Mackey's been in a lot of movies. She's trying to make it happen. And
Yeah.
good luck to her.
Yes.
Speaking of women who need luck, Lady Gaga will be appearing in Joker Folie à Deux fall 2024.
Yeah, she's okay. We talked about this, I think, before that she was in talks. So she's clearly going to be Harley Quinn.
I can't imagine what else she would possibly be.
Yeah. Yeah. She's going to be Harley Quinn.
She's going to be doing, yeah, okay, Mr. Joker. Like she can, you know, she already kind of does that.
She does already kind of do
That's
that,
her background.
so, yeah. Do you think that she'll be like his psychologist at first?
Oh, they'll do, yeah. They'll
do the whole
It's so
thing.
great that they basically just ripped off, you know, the Scorsese movies.
Yeah.
And now they're just literally, these are just comic book movies, but they're rated R.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to do, we're judging it before we've even seen it, but what do you expect? They're just going to do that, and it's just going to be, oh, this is just like literally, we thumb our nose at like Suicide Squad or something like that. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just what they are. They're not any better.
They're not.
Deadpool,
yeah.
the new Deadpool movie from Marvel is supposed to be R-rated, but it's not going to be like, oh, this is, oh, really? You like Infinity War? Oh, no, I'm R-rated.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be
Adults
like
only.
that. No.
No.
Okay. I mean, it's like I kind of knew this was coming, so I just, yeah. I still haven't seen the Joker.
Why do? Well, you're not missing anything, but
Yeah.
I'd be interested. Give us your opinion when you do see it someday.
Okay.
Okay, everyone.
Yes.
Why is she doing this?
Because she thinks it's a good idea.
People who haven't done anything wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you can't. There's nothing you can say about them. Let me tell you what I'm talking about.
All right.
Joaquin Phoenix is an asshole.
Yeah.
And he is, if by all reports, you know, creates a toxic environment on set. He's a dick to work for. He's a dick in interviews. And it's just like, that's what we think of when we think about the Hollywood Boys Club.
Yeah.
Todd Phillips made 3 films about, you know, boner jokes and titties and, you know, hangovers and stuff like that. Actually,
Yeah.
you know, the boner was Ken Jeong's, but it's funny.
Yeah.
When you think about, I'm going to go off the page now. When you think about, and didn't he do, what was that other movie that he did?
I don't know.
War Dogs? Wasn't that Todd Phillips?
Was that him?
Channing Tatum.
Okay.
Just broy duty stuff.
Yeah.
Duty, emphasis on the duty.
Duty.
Then you think about like, again, nobody's done anything wrong. That's fine. But Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
Bradley Cooper is another like, he's probably nice, but he's like a douchey method guy.
Mm-hmm.
He works with David O. Russell a lot, who
lot.
is literally an abuser.
Yeah.
Why does Lady Gaga want to deal with these people? Do you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know. Yeah.
Why not? Aren't you like girl power?
Yeah.
But then like work with girls.
Yeah.
Like or start your own. You're clearly creative and you are ambitious. Like start your own company.
Mm-hmm.
Margot Robbie, you hear that? You're flooding it.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie did it a long time ago. Hasn't gotten her anywhere, but she's still doing it, right? Do that.
Yes.
You've already won an Oscar for your song, but you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
why are you working with these people?
I don't.
You don't need Todd Phillips.
I know.
Todd Phillips is super lucky to have you.
Todd Phillips needs you.
The Joker
You don't
is the
need
best
him.
thing that ever happened to Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
Because it makes him legitimate. Sure, the
Yeah.
Hangover movies made a ton of money, but nobody respects them.
Yeah.
Ed Helms is selling Xfinity. So
Yeah.
clearly that doesn't matter that they did well.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know why she's
That's my
working.
rant on Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
I don't like this direction. Not only because she's, in movies that I don't care about, the fourth remake of A Star Is Born,
Yeah.
and a sequel to a ripoff of a Scorsese movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that she's like better than this, you know?
Yeah.
Why is she doing this?
I know. I also am just disappointed that there's going to be a sequel to The Joker. So,
Well, it made almost $1 billion, right?
I know.
So, obviously it's going to be a sequel. Speaking of people who definitely should be reaching for more, but I'm starting to think maybe there isn't more there. Matt Smith was interviewed about his upcoming House of the Dragon show.
Sure.
Oh, first of all, he was interviewed about Morbius and if he's upset that it did badly. And I'm like, at this point, that callus is pretty thick, right?
Yeah.
He's never been in a good movie. So he's got to not worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
But his response was funny. He's like, no, I don't care. We're not doctors. We're not saving lives here. It's just a movie.
Uh-huh.
And my instant response was, do you think you should have less pride in what you do than a doctor does in what they do?
Right.
Shouldn't you be proud of your work and the work that you do?
I mean,
Do you think this is all just a loft? Like what? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when if a doctor's not proud, somebody dies. If you're not proud, your movie sucks. Sure, stakes not equal,
Yeah.
but equivalent.
I mean, I think you should always have pride in your work, but like clearly, like he was just trying to say nobody
See
dies.
Morbius? I don't think he does.
No, I think he was just having fun in that, and like he was one of the best parts of that. I feel like, but he is constantly in bad movies, so I can't just blame his manager for that because he's picking these movies too. So I don't know what his horrible taste is in films. I hope that his TV show does better. And
Well.
I don't know, maybe Matt Smith belongs on TV and not in film. I don't know.
Well, let's get into that because he was also asked about the sex scenes in his new show and if
Sure.
he's in them. And he said,
okay.
yeah, slightly too much, if you ask me. Apparently, he feels like he's been in too many sex scenes.
That reminds me of the no sex, please. I'm British.
Yeah.
That sounds like okay. That's what it sounds like to me.
His
It's Game of Thrones. There's going to be a lot of sex.
And look, you and I know that nobody has ever lied more than an actor on a red carpet. But like his rationale was that it's important for them. It's such a backward rationale because he said that it was important for them to represent the books as written and not alter this work of fiction for the time that we're living in. That was his
Okay.
justification because the sex scenes are in the books. And I'm like,
Sure.
buddy, the time we're living in is the 21st century
Right.
with digital cable, and the FCC is just, playing with like a ball and a paddle. Like
Yeah.
they're not even paying attention anymore because
No.
you're not, broadcast over the air.
Right.
So you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
It's HBO. They
Yes.
make shows about like the beginnings of the porn industry, and they
Right.
just really rub their hands together when they make those.
Mhm.
So aren't we changing the books for the time that we're living in? Aren't we adding more sex because it's HBO?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
The book is this thick,
Yes.
and I'm holding my fingers about 3.5 inches apart.
Yes.
How many of those pages are sex scenes?
Yeah. Right.
Not inches worth.
No.
And yet you watch the shows. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's like, Matt, you've got the right justification applied backwards.
Yeah.
Apparently, Miguel Spochnik, the guy who is a producer on the show, was interviewed by the Hollywood Reporter, and he talked about how the new show, House of the Dragon, will still focus on the violence against women that is inherent in a patriarchal system. That is the fancy way of saying, get ready for more rape.
Yeah, and I think I'd heard this, which is just okay. It's probably in the books, but it's disappointing. Why?
Well, why so much and why so gleeful? And why combine it with these sex scenes that
Yeah.
are intended to titillate?
Why you're talking about
Yeah.
it?
And why
Yeah.
not comment on it in some way? Game of
Right.
Thrones never commented on anything.
No.
It wasn't like, yes, Sansa gets Ramsay's dogs eat his face, but I mean, after having killed, at least one of her brothers, right? And then,
So
yeah, anyway, he did a lot of bad stuff.
yeah,
They should have done that anyway. And
Yeah.
nobody ever said, thank God you got him. Here, do you want his face? Hold on, the dog's going to poop it out. There,
Yeah,
put that on
right.
your mantle because of how he raped you.
no,
I mean, and obviously that would also be kind of being reductive about the fact that he's like been on a quest to destroy her entire family and to take away the rightful throne of hers in the North. And so like, it's more than just that he raped her, but then she's not raped in the books. So we aren't
yes,
honestly
Yes.
depicting what happens in the books. You have no argument. You just did it because it's mean-spirited. And the show resists lessons because I just remember that moment in the finale where, and nobody thought that it was going to suddenly become like the Japanese diet or something like that. But like Sam's like, why don't we do democracy? And everybody, including the good guys, all laugh. And that's
Yeah.
just like, that's a meta moment that's just like supposed to be winking at the audience. Like, oh, like this crazy world. He wants to do democracy. I don't work here.
right.
This is a world with like ice dragons.
I
You could
know.
do anything here.
You could.
Anything could work if you tried it.
Yes.
But they just laugh because it's just like, it's just a cruel. I hate Game of Thrones. I really hate it. I want to drill it all out of my head, pie style,
Oh my god. Oh my
hot
god.
pie style.
What? Hot pie style? I'm so confused.
Character hot pie.
I don't know.
Act like you're cool. Act like you know what's going on.
I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm not gonna
Hot
pretend.
pie, the character hot pie.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, but you're imagining something that is not what it is.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another, not WB. We're not going hard on WB yet. Let's talk
Okay.
instead about how Kevin Spacey has been ordered to pay $31 million to a House of Cards producer for alleged sexual misconduct.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot of money.
So you know that he's, dancing between the raindrops here as far as getting away with a lot of
yeah.
the stuff that
He's trying to get away with
he's
it.
been
for
on.
Sure. Yeah.
But apparently the producer, or at least the production company, had argued that because of all this hullabaloo, they had lost quite a lot of money,
Okay.
around $30 million,
Okay.
to, streaming, licensing, however you make money on a streaming show.
Okay.
And that was Spacey's responsibility.
Okay. All right.
So again, remember, like OJ was declared innocent in a court of law, was found guilty in a civic court,
Yeah.
and so had to pay millions and millions of dollars. I don't know if he ever paid it to the Goldmans.
Right.
How does that work? I don't know. I'm not here to debate how our legal system works.
Right.
Even though Kevin Spacey has kind of beat all the raps, looks like a civil court said, no, you got to pay him $31 million, which he definitely has.
Yeah. But whether or not he's actually going to pay it, though, is another question.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. I don't feel bad for Kevin Spacey, so I say pay him. Pay the producer.
You're going to advise him to pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's
Instead of
probably
not
not
paying.
going to, but yeah.
Well, I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, good.
What the hell?
I don't know. Wow.
Thanks for that.
Okay, fine. Jeez.
Shall we talk about, here's our latest update on Blonde,
Yeah.
the upcoming Marilyn Monroe biopic starring Ana de Armas.
Mm-hmm.
And recently there was a trailer that came out, kind of more extended trailer, and it is it's let's say it's inciting people on both sides of the aisle. If the theater is, do you like this or not?
Okay.
I don't know why there's an aisle.
Sure.
It's just part of
Just
the
way
phrase,
it
the
goes.
metaphor.
Yeah.
Some people like it, some people don't. The people that don't matter. But let's just entertain them for a little bit.
All right.
They don't like the fact that they can slightly hear her accent.
I think that's stupid. I can't really hear her accent, and I think that they're just nitpicking.
I don't disagree with you. I
Yeah.
don't disagree with you at all. But yeah, people say that her slightly. I guess it's Spanish. She was born in Cuba, but I think raised in Spain. Or no, she moved to Spain when she was like a teenager
was
or something
young.
like that. So anyway, I'm
Okay.
sure it's a combination of both of those.
Sure.
But she has worked with a vocal coach, and it's been really important to her to get this right. And some people
Yeah.
are saying they complain about it. Yeah, who cares, right?
Yeah.
But Brad Pitt,
Oh.
who wears a dress now because we're all going to die, let's have some fun with it,
Okay.
has been forced to defend this because he's a producer on the film.
Oh, okay.
And he's come out and said, "Wow, it sounds good to me." Thanks, Brad. Thanks.
We can all move on now. Brad Pitt has spoken.
Thank you.
It sounds good to me too, but it's just like, wow. Okay. Doesn't really help much.
It doesn't help also that it's a terrible trailer.
It's not a great trailer.
It's an okay trailer if none of those scenes are in the movie. But if a trailer is made up of scenes from the movie,
Yeah.
that means that there is a scene in the movie where, is that Bobby Cannavale? Bobby Cannavale says, "So tell me about Marilyn."
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "The thing about Marilyn." No, we're not going to do it.
Yeah,
She sounds
right.
fine.
Yeah.
Is that like, it's just me, but it's not me. It's
Norma Jean.
I'm Norma Jean, but I
Yeah.
play this role. And it's like, this is the subtext, and I'm saying it like it's text.
Right.
Is the whole movie going to be like that?
I hope not.
And titties?
Yeah.
Because not good.
No.
And it's from the guy that did Assassination of Jesse James. So I expect Marilyn Monroe to stand in a field for 10 minutes. And then
Right.
Arthur Miller shoots her in the back of the head.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'll make that joke every time we talk about this.
I know.
I don't care.
I know. It's okay. I hope it's not like that too, because I don't why ruin the subtext? Why do that?
Just in case your audience is really dumb because
Really
they came to
stupid.
your Marilyn Monroe movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our Marilyn Minute for this week.
Ah.
Dun, dun, dun. By the way, Brad Pitt's new movie, Bullet Train, made $30 million this weekend, which is like, it's okay.
That's all right.
I was neither right nor wrong. I predicted
didn't-
it would
didn't
fail.
bomb.
It didn't exactly bomb, but
No.
it's not necessarily on track to make its money back,
No.
which that's basically a bomb.
It's not John Wick, right?
No,
And maybe that's
but
what
it's
they were
directed
going
by
for.
the John Wick guy, isn't it?
I think you're right.
Yeah, it is.
It has kind of a John Wick feel to it. So
Whenever
but
I
it
see a
is not.
guy on a red carpet and he's in like a fancy suit, which is like, who are you kidding? Just put a dress on. We're all gonna die. Have some fun with it.
Wow.
But he's also like ripped, but not quite good looking enough
Uh-huh.
to be a movie star.
Right.
I think Brett Goldstein. Got him!
Oh
No,
my
I
God.
think that's one of the guys, the stunt guys who directs John Wick or whatever. And it isn't just them now. There's a couple other like stunt directors who are like, how is a stunt guy? How tough
Yeah.
could it be?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is. Do you feel like the characters and the through line of John Wick like really comes through? You're like, I really felt for Common there. Like, he really had me.
No, I mean, it's a bunch of stunts,
Or your
right?
favorite
It's
Ruby
cool.
Rose.
Yeah, my favorite. She is not my favorite.
She was
okay?
she's so good. They're like, what if she can't hear?
Yeah.
John Leguizamo was like, excuse me. Why not put a Latin deaf actress in that role?
Oh
And
my
I agree.
God.
Why not?
Yeah. All right. Wow.
It's just about time to complain fully about Warner Brothers and DC. But before we do that,
Mm-hmm.
I want to mention really fast
Yes.
that allegedly,
Mm.
now this is alleged. I don't want the movie cops to come back,
Okay.
but allegedly, the Tolkien estate, that's the J.R.R. Tolkien estate,
Yes.
didn't want Peter Jackson to be involved with Amazon's Rings of Power show.
Why?
Good question.
Why wouldn't they want that? Didn't they think that he did a good job with the other films? At least the original trilogy?
They said
Mm-hmm.
that they were obligated to keep the series distinct and separate from the films. That's what Amazon
How?
That's what Amazon has said initially.
Okay.
But Christopher Tolkien
Mm-hmm.
didn't like Peter Jackson's films.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
He felt like they were commercialized. Too commercialized.
How?
Well, I've got a quote from him if you want.
I mean,
the quote.
is like Legolas going to sell you soap? Like, what does he mean to commercialize? I don't understand.
I don't think he understood that. And we can't ask him now.
Yeah.
Because he died from COVID.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but he died in January
Died
2020
recently.
in Europe.
Yeah.
He said, quote, the commercialization has reduced the aesthetic and philosophical impact of the creation to nothing, he said.
I full-heartedly disagree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the philosophical impact? Because your father steadfastly maintained that nothing in the book stood for anything.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
is he, as we all suspect, was he kind of lying because he didn't like talking to reporters?
Possibly.
He didn't want to get in trouble for anything?
Yeah.
How is the ring not the bomb?
Yeah. Right.
But if the ring's the bomb, then are orcs black people? Here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
A British man
Mm-hmm.
who was born and grew up in a British colony,
Yeah.
but then moved to England
Yes.
and by all rights lived a warm and full life, which he then thought about every time he had to write The Lord of the Rings, like Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And you're not going to laugh at the jokes I'm not going to make them. That's your
What?
favorite Tolkien joke.
What?
Tolkien got to think about his whole life where he could
Oh,
write
yeah.
Lord of the
Okay.
Rings.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
She's not even paying attention.
Hey, I am.
What I'm saying is that he's a nice guy that accidentally wrote a book, a series that is like crypto fascist, and uncrypto real life fascists love it today.
Yeah. I know.
And maybe he felt a little bad about that.
Yeah.
So then he's like, no, none of this means anything. But now his son is like, oh, these movies don't mean anything. What do you want?
Yeah. You can't have it both ways.
No, you can't.
Okay. I mean, what do you think? Do you think the movie?
I think it's good he's dead because he's going to hate the Rings of Power. You want to talk about
think so?
commercialized? Get ready, baby.
Yeah.
Get ready. The hobbits are going to be eating fried chicken and
Oh my gosh.
the bucket turned out to the camera.
Kernel on it. Yeah.
But it'll be like he's got elf ears.
Sure. Right. And a longer, more flowing beard. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Sandral.
Yeah.
Lord
right.
Sandral.
Yes.
And his bucket of golden wonders.
Yes.
Watch out. Is Ted Turner Morpheus? That's what I need to know.
Wait, what? Who? Ted Turner.
Yeah, you know who Ted Turner is.
No, I don't know if I know who Ted Turner is.
Ted Turner?
I don't know if I know who that is.
He's a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. He owns a cable news network. In the past, he owned TBS.
Okay.
And then he was like the CEO of AOL Time Warner.
Oh.
Back when AOL Time Warner
Was a big
existed.
thing?
And then lost let's round it up, $49 billion under his watch, which is why he now just does cable news.
Oh.
Yeah. Is he Morpheus? Because let's go out and get him. If he came back to Warner Brothers,
Yeah.
he would expect to see the golden dreamland
Yes.
that he left behind. And instead,
sure.
it's in ruins. Because that's what's going on at Warner Brothers right now.
Yeah.
Cutting fat.
Yeah, they are cutting the fat.
Things are going real bad
Yes.
for, let's say, for content creators, not for upper management, for middle management, forget about it.
Yeah, right.
And if you code special effects, you have a job still, as long as you keep working 70 hours a week.
Oh my gosh.
Warner Brothers Discovery has completed their merger, and they are getting rid of stuff to move forward here. Now, this is academic because this is on Netflix, although it is a Warner property. I don't think we have to worry about not seeing a second season of Sandman because of this.
Right.
But there are a lot of problems there. It's been announced that HBO Max and Discovery Plus will be merged into a single streaming platform.
Which is surprising
starting
to me.
a year from now.
Yeah.
And the reason behind that is because HBO Max is for boys and Discovery is for girls.
Are you freaking kidding me? Did you make that up?
I wish that I could have told you that I had made that up.
Who said that? That is the most childish, stupid thing I've ever heard.
Okay, I'm paraphrasing a little bit.
Okay.
But honestly, not much.
Okay.
It was...
Wow.
Calm down. Jeez, wow, she's really excited now. It is the CEO of Warner Brothers has... And these guys, how do they get their jobs? They don't get their jobs by being good at talking about things. I'll tell you that much. I think they just get there probably because their dad did it, or they come out of a Pez dispenser. But the current one is David Zaslav, and he's been sent out in front of the mics in order to spin a lot of these decisions. And one of the reasons, or one of the things that he said about Warner Brothers, HBO, and Discovery, like I said, is that essentially that HBO is more about what did he say? About like characters, and like Discovery is more about like environments.
I mean, that makes more sense than
right. So you're going to watch the Real Housewives on your Discovery. You're going to watch your Batman Suicide Squads on HBO.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I guess a streaming service is what you program it with, but you program it.
Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
Everybody be mad, but you could just flip-flop them.
Yeah.
And then just watch everybody just follow the show that they want to watch.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So obviously it's all academic, and he should have just said nothing because they're going to merge them both anyway.
Yeah.
But in merging them, they've lost stuff. Already many shows have fallen off of HBO Max.
Yeah.
Without any fanfare.
Okay. Wow.
Things that people were watching, things that people were used to seeing. We're seeing
upsetting.
cartoons, we're seeing shows, we're seeing movies disappear.
Okay.
And some things that haven't come out yet are not coming out at all.
What?
Like Batgirl.
Well, like Batgirl. Yeah.
Or Scoob 2.
What
Scoob
is
Harder.
Scoob 2.
The sequel to Scoob.
For like Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, more people than you'd expect are upset about that.
Well, I imagine a lot of kids are upset about that.
Yeah. Now,
the whole Batgirl thing is kind of disappointing.
Yes, and you want to know what Zaslav said about it?
What?
Zaslav sounds like a Batman villain.
It does.
He said that we're not going to launch a movie until we're ready.
But you're not launching this at all.
We're not going to launch a movie a quarter. We're not going to put out a movie unless we believe in it, he said. He said that it did not meet their standards for release.
What does that even mean?
Well, specifically, it means that they showed it to test audiences and they thought it sucked.
Okay.
So that's not great.
No.
Also, apparently, the worldwide pandemic and Discovery / HBO Warner Brothers financial woes meant that it was kind of underfunded and kind of underproduced and just looks cheap is sort of the scuttlebutt. Like It doesn't look like, Black Adam or, a DC film.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, you made it for HBO Max. You knew that you weren't going to spend big money on it. So there are ways around that, or you just you take the hit and accept that it doesn't look as good as,
right.
The Batman or something.
Well, and I'd heard too that like it originally was going to come out on HBO Max. Then they were like, no, we're going to release it in the theaters. And now we're not releasing it at all. Which is just, I think, an incredible disappointment for everybody who worked on the film.
Joker 2 coming out 2024.
Right. I guess Michael Keaton was supposed to come back as the Batman in Batgirl.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to make any sense.
Right. And when asked about the Flash movie, he's like, we stand behind it. It's a great movie. We can't wait for you to see it. And I'm like, I hope that Ezra gets to see it through the bars of their cell.
Yeah. Yeah. Has there been any updates on Ezra?
No, because I think David Zaslav is writing a lot of checks to people who can try to stop the news getting out.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about this. Look, he's just falling backwards off of a cliff. Like, watch me die.
Yeah, I know.
This is my job. I get a golden parachute of $1 billion.
Yeah.
Let the story be that we're doing all these weird things. We have a 10-year plan, everybody, and it's to get you to forget about what Ezra Miller's doing right now.
Right.
Yeah, it's nobody knows what's going on, but they are moving forward with the Flashpoint movie. Of course, they're moving forward with Joker and so on and so forth. And so God, they've got a team with a 10-year plan focusing just on DC.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. What do we know about the 10-year plan?
Nothing.
Nothing.
In fact, there is no 10-year plan. He just said that.
Why say that? That's
No.
such smoke and mirrors.
I look, I'm a student of liars, and
okay.
I think he just said that.
Wow, that's weird.
Could they follow it anyway if they had one?
Yeah, no.
I mean, he won't be in that job for 10 years.
No, he won't.
Unless they, turn everything around, and that's no real big chance of that.
No.
So, yeah, that's the environment in which the Sandman comes to market.
Okay.
And the Sandman, I guess, should be happy that it doesn't exist within the DC universe.
I think it should be happy.
For that reason.
Yeah.
It does not. There's some article where Neil Gaiman trips over his own dick trying to explain how and why it doesn't exist. But let's just take it as a given. It does not.
It's not in DC. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us what happens in the first episode
Oh, God.
of The Sandman
I should have known I'd have to do
on
this.
Netflix. Also, nice work. Why is it on Netflix? I mean, I guess it'd just be canceled if it was on HBO Max. Anyway,
Yeah, it would.
You didn't know that when you were developing it.
No. It's really weird, too, because you can't even say that all of Gaiman's stuff has been on a specific network because Good Omens is on Amazon.
Don't even try.
And where was American Gods? I can't even remember.
Stars.
Yeah. So they've all been on different ones.
Neverwhere.
Yeah.
It was on the BBC.
Yeah.
What about, whatever.
Anyways.
Although there are footprints on his dick when he's telling you about how great Netflix has been to him. So, okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So basically it starts off and I think we see.
Oh my God. We're going to be here forever. You want to tag team this? Let's tag team this.
I'll just summarize. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically Dream of the Endless, who I don't even know if he's the Endless right at this point. There are some people who are trying to capture Death. Instead of capturing Death, they accidentally end up capturing Dream. And they hold him in this magical circle and a glass cage for years and years and years. And he finally is able to get out. And when he gets out, he's able to escape. But all of his magical items are gone. And
oh, no.
Yeah. And he goes back.
I hate when DMs do that.
Yeah. And he goes back to the land of the dreaming, and all of the dreams and nightmares are gone as well.
Wow. Really, if I said, like, take a little off the top and you're shaving my pubes and then dipping me in Nair.
Weird.
And burning off the top layer of my skin with acid. That's your version of. I'll just summarize. I'll just sum up real quick.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's much more than that.
Well, of course it's more
and there
than
isn't
that.
any way for us to review, I guess, separately the first issue of the comic and this first issue of the show. So I guess we can just talk, having a recent familiarity with the comic, having read it.
Yep.
We can talk about how close it sticks to or what it changes and why.
Yeah.
And here's the why. Because what would be the point in just doing it word for word?
Yeah.
No, not yeah. I'm the character of a Hollywood writer who wants to get paid. But then also it's slavishly devoted to recreating the most minute details on the screen.
Yes.
So now I'm myself again. We are legion. We are many. What's the point of doing it at all? Why does this even exist outside of money, please? Even if you nail it, all you are doing is just showing how well the artists that, like Mike Dringenberg and Sam Keith, in this first issue, who designed the book, you're just showing what a great job they did.
Yeah.
If the comic is just your storyboard.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Like, the best that could come out of this thing, and I hated just about every second of this, to be totally honest with you, is it sells more Sandman comic books. That is my dream, hope, and wish for this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But otherwise, I have no idea why this exists. I could do an interpretive dance to Eine kleine Nachtmusik.
Yeah.
But maybe I should just listen to it instead. What would be the point of me doing that?
Yeah.
Expression, this isn't expression. This is corporate art. Like, this is mass media.
I guess
So why? Who cares?
I'm just.
And all the worst parts were the parts that they had to jam in order to justify the fact that this would be 12 episodes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They had to plant things because you're dumb
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know if somebody shows up later and they weren't in this first episode, then, you know, how are you going to know who that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's dumb.
It's not great.
Well, that's just my opinion. What's yours? You liked it. You watched the second episode.
I didn't. I don't put words in my mouth. I didn't like this. I was curious about this because I had been hoping and wishing for some reason for an adaptation of Sandman for a really long time, and I thought, oh, wouldn't that be neat? And I don't know why I thought that would be neat, because maybe it's just a story that just can't be told in another form. Yeah, maybe it just needs to be told in a comic
Well, I
book.
could have told you that.
Okay.
But it wasn't until watching this that I think I really realized it. I guess I understood intellectually, but it really crystallized for me the idea that we just shouldn't do this. Mm-hmm. Now, we're never going to stop doing this.
Yeah.
I enjoy the movie, the Joe Wright movie, Pride and Prejudice, and I've never read Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
So does that mean I'm a hypocrite because I like a story that I haven't read the origin of? I don't know. I also don't know how Jane Austen's brain tastes.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and that isn't a Seth Grahame-Smith reference.
Okay.
It's just me saying, you know, an idea is the most original thing. It is then put out into the world as something and sometimes finds its way to be something else. Mm-hmm. But I'd rather listen to David Bowie than watch Black Star, the musical that he wrote, you know, in the last years of his life.
Yes.
And like, yeah, some things are just better as other things. Some things are the height of a medium. And to try to make them something else is only to dull the luster of that thing and just make you depressed and want to do something else. Like, here's a kazoo cover of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Right. You just want to turn the album on.
Yeah.
So I admit I am completely and utterly biased against this, but as a professional, I will try to work through this. Otherwise, we'd have to cut it off. Like the Butcher, that's what Zaslav's employees call him behind his back because of his propensity to cut projects.
Wow.
Yes, they call him the Butcher.
Wow. That's intense.
Yeah, but not the Flash, though. We're not cutting that.
No. We got to keep that, baby.
We got to add a new scene to explain why Michael Keaton's here, but we're not cutting it.
Right.
So that all that being said, we permission audience to treat the show as hostile. Mm-hmm. We will go forward, and we will try not to pile on, but we're definitely going to be talking negatively about this. I've been not seriously looking for people's responses online, but I have seen both good and bad responses. Maybe this is just the nature of criticism, but all the people who like it go, I love it. And all the people that don't like it might be petty, but they say something.
Yeah,
maybe that's just how criticism works.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think that the people who like it and don't say why and have nothing specific, maybe just like it because they like it.
Sandman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at least the people who are criticizing it have something to criticize. I got plenty of things to criticize.
Yeah, I got plenty of things to criticize.
Well, give me one
too. Of them. There's too much voiceover in this. And it's not even...
Look, you're dumb. How are you going to know what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a tool. I think that it gets overused an awful lot. And I think if you don't use it in a smart way, it's too much. And I think it's too much in this. And it's Dream doing the voiceover. But I also feel like they included things, but then they didn't necessarily always explain things. Even though sometimes they think they explain things too much. So I guess we're going to talk back and forth. But in the comic, when Dream gets captured, it affects the world at large. And there are many people, especially young people, who have sort of some sort of sleeping sickness.
So you never know, and you're always surprised. Sleeping sickness is real.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
In the years stated in the book, with some exceptions, because the several people that we focus on, you know, it affects them throughout their life until
Yes.
the 80s or whenever Sandman takes place. Which some of those people, that old guy just sat in a gutter for 40 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, it was more than that, right? It was like the 20s. It was like the early 30s, maybe. No, he was captured in World War One, and then it's the 80s. So how old is this kid?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. The point is, and the show doesn't completely aligns over it because they're just like, it's been a century.
Well, and
Okay, if it's been a century, how old is this effing kid?
yes.
Now he's like
exactly.
110 in a wheelchair or
Yeah,
something?
right. Well, and then they show like one kid who doesn't wake up.
Right, but this is piddly. My point is,
Okay.
is that it's real. Now, we don't know what it is. It's called encephalitis, go to sleepius or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you know, I think fairly recently they discovered some enterovirus or something like that they think might have caused it.
Mm.
But at the time, you know, it was weird, but nobody went like, oh, the world is broken.
Well,
They just figured
no.
like, well, we just had a global pandemic and there are a lot of like follow-on illnesses that come
Yes.
after like, you know, virulent infections.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, about 1 million people this happened to. It happened, you know, it was statistically significant.
Yeah.
But it's only 1 million people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
you
isn't
think
like
about the
everybody
grand
you
scheme
know.
of
It isn't
things.
huge.
No.
And I think the reason that Gaiman specifically focuses on 4 people
Mhm.
is to make it more personal.
Sure.
It isn't like an entire city falls asleep.
No.
It is like these people fall asleep.
Right.
Now, these people, with one exception, aren't characters that'll continue forward.
Right.
So why the hell would Netflix bother to put them in there? There's no point, right?
No, but they're
Also, they need to inflate the size of the threat. It's very personal for these people, but the world continues turning.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Whereas I think the show is trying to convince you that this is huge and gigantic. And that goes to a point I'm setting up that I'm going to complain about when you're done. Go ahead.
I don't feel like they explain it though at all. Like, why couldn't he have like done like voiceover, being like there were people who didn't wake up?
Why is
because...
there voiceover at all?
Oh, I don't know why
He
there's
does- he's
voiceover at all.
Barely speaks in the
I
first
know.
issue.
I know.
Yeah. Instead, he's got to tell you everything who he is. I hate the superheroification of it.
Yes.
Neil Gaiman says he's not in the DC universe. You're wrong. You're wrong. Because he's just in an alternate DC universe where he's a superhero, the Sandman, that protects you from the nightmares at night.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with what the Sandman is a modern horror comic, or at least it began that way. It's an EC horror comic.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam Keith even went out of his way to draw everybody like they were in a Crypt Keeper comic.
Yeah.
They're doing this on purpose. Now, obviously, it evolved over time, as hopefully this show will, but I feel like they only feel like that the network of Stranger Things and Umbrella Academy, our audience will not understand this if it isn't, you know, we're fighting evil, we're the irregulars,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like they're not going to get it. Nobody's going to understand like if this is just like the Twilight Zone and a guy with eyes like stars in deep pools of water shows up every once in a while to like mete out punishment. And so it's like they have to set up entire premise. He's got to stop the Corinthian because the Corinthian's a super villain. He's so bad. There's no way that he would just like evaporate if Morpheus got bored of him.
I know.
And then also, you know, and his realm is destroyed, and so he's going to have to rebuild it. Whereas in the comic, it was like a couple books went missing from the library, and that was about it. You know, like he just rebuilds the castle. That gives Mervyn something to do.
Yes.
Otherwise, you know, we don't want Mervyn's ants to get idle. But like, no, that's a premise. So over the course of the show, every week we know that this is where he's at in terms of achieving this goal.
Yeah.
It's a character who literally perishes because of ennui. You know what I mean? Like it defines, like he doesn't have, you can debate a lot what the Sandman is about, but it is not about him going on an adventure. The one adventure he goes on goes horribly for him.
Yeah.
Trying to find his brother.
Yeah. Right. I do agree with you that they're trying to set it up like as a superhero, and like Corinthian is like the big bad, and he's not the big bad in the comic, but it's like the producers of the show or the Suits or what have you at Netflix are like, okay, well, so who's the big bad? Because obviously there has to be a big bad. So they just went with the Corinthian. And something that I didn't like just right away from the first episode is that the Corinthian was like telling Burgess like how to keep him in the
You know how
cage.
the Corinthian is info dumps all the time?
Yeah.
You know, he shows up and he takes
Yeah.
his sunglasses off. He's got little mouths in his eyes, and he's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to cut all your flesh off. But first, let me explain just how the Endless work.
I
You know, there
know.
are 7 of them, and they cannot die, but sometimes they can die. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you. Also, Boyd Holbrook. All right, I'm at this point. I'm at thumbs down on Boyd Holbrook now.
Oh, really?
I think we can get rid of him. He was all right in Logan. I think I've seen him in something else where he was not required to be
I'm not
particularly
sure.
interesting,
Who
and so
was
they're
he in this?
the Corinthian.
He's the Corinthian. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not
He's just like
overly impressed with him so far.
What do you think about the guy who plays Morpheus?
I think he's okay. I think they decided
Are they digitally making his mouth that small?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a fantastic question.
Also, is he hot? Because God knows they want you to think that. I'm guessing that's the only reason that they didn't make him the color that he's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be very, very pale.
Is it because you cast a black woman as Death that you're like, well, we're not making we're not going to change anybody's skin color. I respect that decision.
Uh-huh.
And there are certainly scenes where the lighting contrives to make him look kind of pale.
Yeah.
But he's just a dude walking around.
Yeah.
And that was like never what the point was supposed to be. Robert Smith goes out on stage in black lipstick and white makeup. Like he still does it.
Yeah. He's
That was
supposed to be
the
like
point.
Robert Smith. Yeah.
Maybe you can't modernize this. Maybe it comes from a mind who lived at a certain time and it's for a certain time.
Well, and then like he's supposed to have kind of wild hair. I always kind of felt like,
Well,
but
they're
like,
doing their best.
Yeah.
I think it's his hair though. They're not wigging him. So.
No, I think it is his real hair. Yeah.
It's not his real dick though.
Okay.
No.
They don't show his dick. I don't know. So
They're like blue dicks. We've done that.
Yeah, right. I think that he's making his voice sound very low and deep and bass, and I don't know, maybe his voice actually sounds like that, but
I don't think it sounds good.
it's a little much for me. It feels a little put on.
You know who will really do anything?
Huh.
Charles Dance will do anything.
Apparently
He's
he
in Ice
will.
Pirates.
I mean, why is he's barely in this.
Yeah.
He's in this first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having read the first issue,
Yes.
he's not in Ice Pirates, is he? What's
Is
the
he?
robot? What's the space robot movie? He's a robot in space.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ice
I
Pirates,
don't
but you know,
know.
whatever. He's so having read the first issue,
Yes.
we can talk about the character of Alex Burgess,
Yes.
which is like, are you doing a thing? Anthony Burgess, writer of Clockwork Orange, the main character, Alex.
Okay. Probably. I would guess yes.
That's the kind of thing that a 1985 Neil Gaiman would do, I guess.
Yeah.
Or a 2022. No, I don't know. The change in that character also tells you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because and the circumstances of what am I trying to say? The way that character is dealt with
Yes.
changes a lot.
Yes, I would agree with you.
So in the comic,
Yes.
he is the child of this character, Roderick Burgess,
Yes.
who is, the Magus.
Yes.
He's you never knew about him, Crowley-esque figure.
Mm-hmm.
And he somehow manages to trap, it's John Carradine that's in Ice Pirates.
Okay. Okay.
Not the same guy at all. I don't know. He somehow manages to trap Death Dream. And then over the course of the rest of his life, he's unable to get Dream to even talk, much less give him the boons that he craves from him.
Yeah.
He also doesn't respect his son at all, though he's bringing him up in the ways of magic. And when he unexpectedly dies, his son kind of inherits the entire thing.
Yes.
And his son goes from an innocent young boy who just wants his father's approval who is scared of the creature that they have in the basement.
Yes.
And tells him right out, look, this is my dad's thing, okay? I'm sorry about this.
Yeah.
I can let you go, but, I'm going to need you to promise that you're not going to do anything to me.
Right.
And over the course of the years in the 20th century, which he lives through most of, he begins to become a guru of his own.
Yep.
Although it's more focused on the sex and love of the
and yoga
revolution,
currently.
the social revolution, yoga,
Yeah.
and he becomes kind of a huckstery type figure,
Mm-hmm.
and he also becomes sort of callous, and you get the idea that that little boy isn't that boy anymore. He's a man has sins of his own.
Yes.
Then, very near the end of his life, or at least in his advanced age, he accidentally frees the Sandman.
Yes.
And the Sandman comes to him and says, "He didn't let me out." And he's like, "Yeah, but this is my dad's thing. You can just do whatever you want." He's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to torture you with eternal nightmares forever. So
Yes.
enjoy that."
Yeah.
Establishes immediately kind of a pissy hero that we've got here.
Yeah, he's kind of a
And
prick.
he's a guy who doesn't forget things.
Yeah.
And that's important for the character's journey that he's going to go on for 75 issues.
Mm-hmm.
But what if Alex killed his bird?
Yeah, his
You
raven.
killed my bird.
His pet
I
raven.
want my bird. What if that happened?
I know.
Then maybe if he made that guy's life living hell, maybe we would think, oh, that guy deserved it.
I know.
Yeah. See what I mean?
Yeah, it changes it in a big way.
But the
And
only thing
not-
I can think is that they went, well, we don't want the audience to hate him.
You're supposed to kind of hate him. He's kind of
You're supposed to not be able to connect with him at all.
yeah. And you can't really.
because he can't.
No.
Not only is it a personality feature, because we meet many of his lovers later who are like, it's not really like a dinner conversation type guy,
Yeah.
but also that's where he is. He is detached from his charges. He doesn't care about humanity and their dreams. And of course, obviously, we know that he's the dream god of all sentient beings everywhere.
Right.
We'll leave the crystal people out of this for now. And his duties have become tedious to him. He has created these tools, the sand, the pouch, the helmet, the things that he doesn't even need because it just makes it easier for him to do. This is the endless equivalent of him eating the TV dinner off of his belly, while he watches TV. He's not really doing his job.
He's not really present.
And
Yeah.
the entirety of Sandman is the story of him becoming more involved, and then, spoiler alert, having to pay the price for trying to do good things. No good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
Even the endless learn.
Right.
Interesting. But what if he was a superhero that had to stop a guy with mouth eyes?
I know. And I remember in the comic, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I remember the Corinthians' eyes very vividly being pointy teeth because it's scarier. And
Were they just
the show? They're just human teeth.
chatter teeth?
Yeah, they just look like normal human teeth, but that are in his eyes. And,
Well,
and that's,
that is scary, I guess.
I guess, but it's not as scary as pointy teeth to me. I don't know. You get a better look at them in the second episode, but they're not scary to me. He tries to threaten somebody with them.
What if they had braces? I feel like that would really throw you off.
Yeah, you'd be like, you're coming at my eyes with braces? I don't know, man.
Yeah. So I love it when they change stuff because they're like, oh, this would make more sense. This would be cooler. This is going to flow better. Or we have to set future things up. And so, the Corinthian has to show up, in the first episode because he's going to be the big bad. Or isn't it weird that it's just a bunch of old guys talking about a book and then suddenly a guy in an elephant hat shows up in their basement? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Good introduction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if we just saw him standing in his throne room and Lucian's like,
I know.
my lord, the Corinthian, he's escaped. And he's like, well, I've got to do my Sandman thing.
Are you sure you'll
Here
be
I
back,
go.
my lord?
Oh, I suck. Oh, no. It's like, what?
It's not as mysterious.
What's the point?
Because that you set it up ahead of time, and
Indiana Jones is introduced?
I forget.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. They're in the jungle,
in
the Amazon.
Well, he's fighting somebody, right?
No.
Oh.
No. He's introduced we only see his back, right? We see Alfred Molina and the other guys that are carrying the packs or whatever, and they're going through this spooky jungle, and they get to the thing, and then he starts looking at a map, and we see a leather jacket, the back of a leather jacket and a hat, and then the Alfred Molina and the other guy, I don't know the other guy's name because it didn't become Alfred Molina.
Sure.
He pulls a gun out, and you're like, oh, like who's the main character here? What are we doing?
Right.
And then suddenly, right?
Right. Whip
Knocks the
comes
gun out of
out.
his hand.
Yeah.
In UHF, he rips the guy's arm off.
Oh my God.
And the guy's, and he, gun goes off and he runs away.
Yeah.
And then Indiana Jones turns around, we pan up his face,
Yeah.
up to his face, push the hat back. This is our guy. This is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure George Lucas wants to go back and make it so he whips first.
Yeah.
How would that work? I don't know. But the point is that that's how we meet this person. Do you know what I mean? This is we got to watch out for this guy. Now, he spends the rest of the movie like going, and hanging off of things, getting hit in the butt. And he's kind of a silly character that gets more silly as the movies go on. But that's the intro for this character. The intro for this character is, he's standing. And then somebody goes, hey, what's up? And he goes, okay. And then he goes, sand, there's sand. Hey, guy who's just wearing sunglasses at night. Hey, Rick Akasik, you serial murderer.
Yeah, right.
Come here. Oh, no, what's happening? I'm so weird.
Yeah. It's just...
No impact.
It's zero impact. I also... Here's a couple other things.
Sure.
Burgess was trying to capture death. We don't know at this point
whether he's death or not.
Yeah.
In the comic, Burgess immediately goes, we got the wrong guy.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But, when he first appears...
Well, it leaves a mystery to who did you get then?
Yeah, exactly.
But instead, Charles Danson's immediately like, oh, this is Dream. But he can still do stuff for us.
Right. Well, and
is it because they were worried the audience would be confused?
Yeah, I know. But that's part of the point is the audience needs to be a little confused. The other thing is when Dream is first summoned into the circle, he's wearing the helm and he's got like this big flowy cape jacket sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the helm, it looks like a weird bug-eyed face with like an anteater mouth type thing. You don't know if that's this creature's face or what at first.
Yeah.
You don't know what the creature looks like.
Yeah. Instead, Charles Dance pulls the helmet off.
Yeah.
In a shot that clearly the helmet didn't come off.
It looks like he's hurting the actor's neck.
Well, if that was intentional, I'm not sure. Here's the thing. We've talked about this before. We were just talking about this recently. I can remember what it was. Maybe you can help me out.
Okay.
But you can mean to do something, but if it looks like you didn't mean to do it, there's no point in you doing it.
I agree.
And that was what?
I don't remember what it was that we were talking about.
But you are also in a similar headspace.
Yeah.
You just can't remember what it was.
Yes.
Well, good to you.
I don't know.
Yeah, like if we don't know if it looks like the actor's in pain.
Yeah.
That's going to take us out of it.
Exactly. It's like, oh, that looks like that hurts. Like you're pulling somebody's chin and their neck in different directions that they shouldn't be going.
No, that's the cruelty. That's intended. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, are we done?
I don't know. I just it felt like long too. Like, I guess a couple other things that I want to criticize. Like they do jumps in the comic through time and they do it in the TV show too, but they also like the jumps they seem very long. And then like when Dream finally gets out in the comic, he does this whole long thing where he's like, okay, where are my tools? And like sets up right away how important his tools are, the helm, the ruby, and the sand.
It immediately establishes a connection to his interaction with Dreams.
Yes.
Because he has a physical body, but also he's got, which I don't know, if he got shot, would anything happen? I don't know. Probably not, but whatever. Again, remember, this is the first issue. Mm-hmm. Neil Gaiman hasn't planned all this out yet.
Right.
Later on, he'll say that like the Endless are so old that nobody knows about them. So why are they in a book and they can be summoned by a spell in this?
Right.
Well, Gaiman hasn't figured that stuff out yet.
Yes.
Wouldn't an adaptation be a chance for you
To fix that?
to fix things like that?
Yeah.
And make it more consistent?
Yes.
Not when you're slavishly adapting it. No.
Well, and
So he immediately
yeah.
goes into dreams and he's like, I'm a dream person, but I'm hungry. So he goes into somebody's dream who's dreaming about a banquet and
Yes.
he eats some of the food.
Yeah.
Now, does dream starving to death become a problem in the rest of the series of the comic? Not really, but you would imagine that, if a dream being would need dream sustenance, right?
Yes.
And so he does that. They did keep the, they really jazzed it up, but they kept the idea of the one guy dreaming about his vacation that he was going to go on. And
Yes.
then that gives him access to sand, which
Yes.
he then uses in the real world to like put them to sleep. It's like, okay, that tracks,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to spend $1 million on, making this dream look super crazy.
Yeah.
If this show looks both super expensive and super cheap at the same time.
I agree.
And they have that thing. Oh, should we talk about how it looks?
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
So everybody agrees something's wrong with the aspect ratio.
Yeah.
What is going on?
It looks squeezed.
Why are you doing this? Clearly, like it was shot or you wanted to shoot it on like, anamorphic lenses, but then you don't, anamorphic lens is all squeezed and then
Yeah.
you have to stretch it back out. But this is both squeezed in the middle and round at the edges like it's a spherical lens.
Like it's like fuzzy.
And this isn't like in dreams. This is
No.
just like walking around in the real world. And they asked, a spokesperson for Netflix said, as you'll note, many of the environments are surreal in the series, and we often say it's quite what a dream would feel like.
But if it pulls you, here's the thing though, if it pulls you out, just like we were saying with the mask coming off, if it pulls you out of the show and makes you go, why did they do this? Why was this choice
And
made?
everybody on Twitter is, it's trending. Like people are all like,
It
this
looks weird.
This looks wrong.
It's
But
weird.
they spent there's a scene where we see like young Roderick kind of growing up and his father they kind of combined they really yada young Roderick.
Like Alex, yeah.
Which is interesting,
Yeah.
Alex, because which is interesting because as I pointed out, we see how people change over time and how he goes from an innocent person to a person who is not a good person and is probably culpable for some stuff, definitely for keeping Morpheus in there.
Yeah.
And the contrast is that Morpheus doesn't change. He literally just sits with his hand on his leg for 70 years and does nothing.
Yeah.
And at 69 years, he goes, soon. So we
right.
understand the patience of this character and how his life is not like other lives. Other lives are like, brief candles to him.
Yes.
They yada the crap out of that. He meets his boyfriend and bam, he's in a wheelchair 60 years later.
I know.
So I just don't, what's the point of that? Anyway, so they do extend it in the middle where we see that they kind of give the sex guru aspect to his father. And so in the 1930s, they have a party.
Yeah.
And we go outside and all the costumes, like the beadwork, like they spent a lot on these costumes. But this picture is squeezed and the lighting is kind of TV and cheap.
Yep.
And they do that thing where they cast people who don't have like period faces, you know what I mean? So it just looks like a bunch of people wearing very fancy. It looks like the Met Gala rejects or something like that. And that just kind of extends to the whole thing. Like it just doesn't, they're going to be going through a lot of time periods in this and you don't want it to look like a supernatural flashback.
Yes.
Like you want it to look like something that the Hatchet Man wouldn't have killed because it doesn't, it's not worthy of screen time.
Right. Yeah. But I like you were saying, like, I feel like they could have done more. So like you look at like the first 2 pages of the first issue, and that's like every single panel is in this. And there are other things where it's like, oh, this panel is exactly in it. And then there are other things that they skip. And I feel like the thing with Dream at the end, like he goes into somebody's dream and gets food and that's how he gets clothes and stuff like that too.
Right.
And then he talks to Alex within a dream. And he does talk to Alex within a dream, but it's in the show, but it's truncated. It's not like he doesn't do his whole long speech like, you didn't let me out though, and like you're, and because of that I'm gonna give you this gift. I mean, he kind of does it, but it's like I feel like they shorten it and they don't make his tools as important. So it's like they focus slavishly on some things, and then other things they don't really give the attention to that I think that they deserve.
Yeah.
And because of that, I feel like they don't. This is not a good adaptation, obviously, and I don't think they get why this is good.
Well, if they
And
got
don't
why
get
it was
it.
good, they'd understand that it's, it's an update of an anthology comic style that takes on a life of its own and becomes more of a long-running narrative about dreams, but about like humanity and how humans relate to each other and LGBTQ rights and like injustice in the world and how you can't always correct it and inevitability of things. And it's just, do you see any of that showing
No,
up in this show?
I don't.
People have said that The Sound of Her Wings, the sixth episode, which is the adaptation of the, I think, Eisner Award-winning issue of the series,
Yeah.
where we meet Death and she goes throughout her duties of the day. I can't bear to even try and watch it. Like, I just don't. But people say it's good, so I don't know. They
Okay.
say they really nailed it.
All right. I watched the second episode. It was okay.
After all that, it's okay?
It's just okay.
Well, then tell us how the third episode
Well,
is.
I guess I haven't watched the third episode yet. I'll also say that the episode lengths vary wildly. Like the first one we watched was almost an hour.
It's just streaming TV now.
I guess
Yeah.
episode two was like 37 minutes.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of their version of like a pilot movie. And
yeah. And it is, with Cain and Abel and that sort of
then
thing.
he goes to see the fates
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. That was all in there. Lucian was following him around. But I don't know.
F it, let's go to hell.
Yeah, right.
Because that was the attitude that Matthew and Dream had in the comic.
Remember them having that attitude. That's funny. I don't remember that.
That's
Yeah.
something else is that if you look at, I think it's still Keith. I can't remember who draws it's the third story, right? Where Morpheus goes to hell to try to get his helmet back.
Yeah, he's about to go there right now,
Right.
I think. Yeah.
And he's just mad. He just wants his thing back. And he goes
Yeah.
there and he pisses off Satan, who is very camp in that issue.
Yeah.
Then later, it's before, I can't remember what the story is. It's Rake at the Gates of Hell. No, is that? No, that's, sorry, that's Hellblazer. But anyway, he goes to talk to Satan because he's got to get his ex-girlfriend out of hell, and hell's empty. And Satan's sort of gambit to destroy him is to give him the key to hell because everybody's going to want to beat down Morpheus's door.
Sure.
And as he's doing that, he's afraid because he might be Dream of the Endless, but he's going up against Satan, who is, a person of power in this cosmology.
Right.
And it's a subversion because Satan's like, no, I don't want to fight you. Oh, it's fine. I quit. We all quit. We're just going to quit.
Right.
And he's a completely different kind of character. And that's both a philosophical change in the character that we see play out through the rest of this series and through the 75 issues of Mike Carey's Lucifer, but not in the CW show Lucifer.
Right.
But it's also, Gaiman's evolving his idea of what he wants to do with that character. This is all for me to say that I think Gwendolyn Christie is a good camp Satan, but if she's going to continue on to be that Satan, they're going to have to change it up.
Yeah.
And they probably will. Hopefully they will.
Hopefully.
But yeah, I haven't seen the episode, but I've seen the trailers, and she's super camp.
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite different from what we see in the comics, so I don't know.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I do think that when you go to Satan and you're afraid of Satan and Satan is just like, yeah, whatever, forget about it. You're kind of like, you don't trust Satan,
Oh,
So,
what?
Yeah. News to you, right? So it's kind of like,
This person doesn't trust Satan.
yeah, right.
Huh.
So it's kind of like, what's really going on here? What's the real story? That sort of thing.
Although I guess I do, if we get that far, and honestly, the way things are getting canned these days, Netflix shows included,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think we'll get this far? You think it'll go the distance?
I don't know at this point,
I
not
don't know
having
either.
watched all
But I
of
do want to
it.
see Gwendolyn Christie playing piano in
That would be great.
a bar.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
I like so many things about this show. I like so many
Yeah.
people that are in it that I want to give it a chance. But just based on what I've seen, I don't I don't really see that happening.
Here's the thing, like I didn't like this, but I can see myself just continuing to watch it.
No, I don't do that. Too much stuff to do.
I do that.
Can't do that.
So
Yeah, I don't think this one's gonna get a recommend from me. What about you?
No, it's a no for me, dog. I read Sandman.
Obviously, read Sandman.
Read Sandman. I cannot recommend Sandman enough. I think it's way better than American Gods.
Neil Gaiman, I feel like, has gone back and forth a lot, or maybe his ideas have just sort of slowly evolved about like the adaptation of this specifically. And why do you think specifically he's so on board and it's so important for him to do this, other than the 2 alimonies?
Dang it, you stole what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
Why
would I set you up in that?
Maybe he's just older and it's not as precious to him anymore.
Well, that's probably definitely a part of it.
And maybe he just needs that cash money.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, I'm sure you could find an interview with him where he says, like, I doubt that. I mean, it doesn't seem like it wasn't meant to be filmed. It's not saying like, don't ever try to make this, but because this has been in process for a while and it's been at different houses trying to make it a thing. And, I'm sure that he's probably came to terms with the idea that it wasn't going to.
Well, there's a
happen.
radio play, right?
Sure.
And I think that would work.
Well, it's happening right now.
Yeah. But
with a Scottish Satan.
Yeah.
Or Morpheus.
Yeah, and that's great. I think he wants all of his work filmed at this point.
But like that's kind of where I'm trying to go with this. Like, why?
I don't know. To get more eyes on it, to get more people interested in it, to sell more copies of his books.
He saw Thor and he's like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, Good Omens recently got filmed and everything too, and people lost their shit about that. So, and there's going to be like a second season. How do you do a second season of that? I don't even know.
The world's going to end again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, I think he just, I guess I have a little bit less respect for Neil Gaiman as my time has gone on, because it's like he just seems to want all of his stuff to be filmed. And
well, I don't not respect him. I just don't.
I guess I'm less excited when he shows up on things, because I'm
well,
like,
I definitely don't want to watch an interview with him. I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I'm it's not as like, oh, as exciting as thrilling as like, oh, we're finally going to get some Neil Gaiman stuff. It's like, I just feel like he's everywhere these days. And I don't know. I read Neverwhere recently for the first time, and I didn't really like it that much.
Oh.
And it just felt kind of derivative of some of his other stuff.
Neverwhere, is that the one where there's an unassuming British guy who finds a magical dream girl and goes into a world that he never knew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like many of his other works.
Okay, thanks for completing the joke for me. I
Yeah.
realized as I was setting that up that there was nowhere to go. Like, the joke is that all of his stuff is that. But you did it for me, so thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, so we wouldn't recommend this, but if you want to watch it, obviously it's on Netflix. You can watch it, and I gotta guess season 2's got to be confirmed, right? Or do you never know with Netflix?
I don't know, actually. I mean, this just came out, so I don't know.
I'm sure the numbers will be fine.
Yeah.
You always want to avoid the Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Well, period. But
Yes.
also just it being like, yeah, nobody's watching it. We're not doing none of
Yeah,
these.
no.
So, yeah. You want to avoid that. But yeah, it's first couple episodes out. They're not all out, are
I
they?
think they might all be
okay.
out.
They're all
That's
out right now.
how Netflix
You can binge
usually
it.
does
You
it.
can do it. Get it up and watch it.
Yeah.
It's The Sandman.
Yes.
Dream. Morpheus.
Yes.
I haven't seen despair in any of these things. How are they going to do that?
A great question. Maybe just put her all in shadows.
Sports
or
bra.
something like that. Just put her in a blanket.
Lululemon sports bra.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Despair and Lululemon.
Well, that's what we've got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish it was good news.
Yeah.
I don't like these pile-on shows, but
They're not as much fun to do for us either.
they're
so-
not. No, they're not fun to do. But I mean, you know, it's good to talk about why we don't think it's good
Yeah.
without being disrespectful.
I don't think we were disrespectful.
Well, I don't think that we really were. I shouldn't have talked about his alimony. I forgot. I apologize for that. But yeah, but I, you know, it's good to voice opinions. I think that you know, a free exchange of opinions can be had, even if those opinions are diametrically opposite of each other.
Yes.
And there are definitely things that I've seen on Netflix that I enjoy. I just feel like generally I don't like their approach to things. I think it works good for some things. I think they, in their buying spree, have acquired a lot of properties
Yeah.
that they are not suited to adapt.
And this is one of them because it's just, I mean.
Project Power not included.
Yeah, of course. Right. Of course.
Yeah.
I think this is a massive project to try to take on, and I don't envy them. I just feel like they just didn't get it, you know?
Yeah.
Like whoever was doing this and putting this together just didn't get what was at the core of this.
Yeah. And that's why. Did we say something nice or no? We just mentioned him obliquely. That's why I'm always continually impressed at the work that Fran Walsh and Philip Boyens and Peter Jackson did on adapting Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
No matter what Christopher Tolkien says,
Yeah.
it is not only a fairly complete adaptation of the Lord of the Rings, within reason. What are we talking about here? It's the
Right.
Lord of the Rings. But it also, instead of just trying to make you laugh at lame jokes about pipe weed, actually they do have one of those, it updates the sensibilities in a way that Matt Smith, we bring it all back home. Is this
Oh
our
my
new bit
gosh.
where we just, what did we learn tonight on the show? Where it updates it so you will laugh at the right places, but you'll be laughing instead about, you know, something that Merry says to Pippin that's maybe a little more modern. So you laugh at it.
Right.
Because this is where the levity comes. It was in the book, but it was a, you know, joke about how long it takes you to get from Weathertop to to Lothlorien or something like that.
Right.
And they really did a great job. Then there's The Hobbit,
Yeah.
which just goes to prove that they're human beings
Yeah.
and that art is ephemeral and it is hard to capture. And you're going to get it right sometimes and you're going to not get it right other times.
Yes.
Can't wait for September 2nd when Rings of Power comes out. I'll have a
I'm
review of that.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking. I don't know if I'm looking forward. I'm moving forward. I don't know if I'm looking where I'm going.
Okay.
But yeah, but the question is, do we keep trying? Do we keep spending $250 million, anywhere up to $1
boy.
billion on it?
Yeah.
And are we
right.
casting Latino actors?
These are the right questions to ask.
Yeah, they are. And
Yeah.
there are right answers to some of them. So as long as they keep asking those questions, we'll be here to tell them if they got the answers right.
That's right.
Follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more BS like this. And let us know if you've seen The Sandman, what you thought about the show, because we're interested in your opinion. Also, go to your listening platform of choice if you're not already there, and subscribe to the show if you have not done that already, and give us a rating and a review if that's something that you haven't done yet. Because we need you to do those things to support the show. We don't ask for much. Just support us by following us. You can get the show as soon as it comes out. Give us 5 gems, rubies,
Yeah.
that honestly look like you got them from the cheap side of the merch alley at con?
It looks like a toy jewelry that I would have played with as a kid.
That comes with your Barbie or your She-Ra
Right.
doll or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Like,
probably She-Ra.
I get I get trying to update, because in the comic it's like set in this like big like scarab type thing, and it's like jewel encrusted or whatever, and I get maybe trying to like update the sensibility, although it itself is ancient and
Yes.
from like another universe or world, right?
Right.
So it could look that way.
Yeah.
But they tried to like make it kind of modern and sort of like, let's go minimal on this.
It
This
was very
is minimalist.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Later on we'll have a guy in a straw hat with mouths for eyes, but
Yeah, right.
this is going to be minimalist.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe don't do that. Go maximalist. Give us 5 stars. We'll be back next week with updates from Convergence and what we're doing at the con. And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.